Hello and welcome to another Art of War Legions video. Today it's more of a thinking out loud video where I will be discussing what units I think are missing from the game and some units that I think should be in the future of Art of War. And hopefully this might get seen, and you never know. The devs might be like, ooh, I like that idea. So I hope you join me in this. If you have any comments on the units that I suggest, or if you have your own units, I would love to hear ideas of what you would like to see in the game in future. Please pop the suggestions in the comments below. And let's get right into it.
I do hope he doesn't try anything foolish.
So the first troop I would like to suggest would be the Elf Archer, or Elven Archer. Now the race of this archer would be under Wild, rather than at the moment the archers are under Human and Sacred. So this would be a new race of archers. Now, with archers, you know that they're very stealthy and they're very accurate. Now, with this archer, it would have a skill ability called Hunter's Mark. Now, with this, at the start of the battle, the elf archer would pinpoint a target. It would be completely at random, and it would do 25% more damage to that unit until that unit dies. When it dies, the mark then would move on to another unit that's still alive, and that would be random, but the damage would be 20%. Now, this would then go on to a third unit once the second unit's died, and then that damage would that unit would take 15% more damage than previous. So it's basically allowing the archer, for the first 3 units that it goes for, to have an increased damage of 25% for the first, 20% for the second, and 15% for the third. If the archer is still alive by that point, once the 3 marks have been killed, it will do its normal physical damage going forward. So I think there's a lot of variation with this unit in particular. You can place them in obviously different locations, just like you do with the Frost Archers, but having that increased damage could really benefit those sort of mid to back row units and mix it up a bit, not just Frost Archers. The next unit we're going to be talking about is zombies. Now, I'm quite surprised this unit isn't in the game already, because in most games, fantasy games, you will have skeletons and you'll have zombies, ghouls and things like that. Now, zombies being sort of mindless creatures, they do come under the race of Dark in the game, and they will be mainly sort of like cannon fodder, but they do have a unique skill that they would benefit from. Now, the skill in question here, I would suggest, would be Resurrection. Not quite like what you have with the skeletons that are currently in the game, which I believe is called Revive. Resurrection is for the zombies, allowing the zombie to come alive several times.
What did you say?
When the zombie is killed for the first time, it's alive and it does its normal physical damage, but when it dies, it comes back to life and loses 1 arm, meaning that it does 50% less damage on its second life. Now, if the zombie is killed a second time, he rises with 1 leg, meaning that he's now 50% slower on his next resurrection. And then he is walking around doing 50% less damage, 50% slower speed, more, like I said, cannon fodder, but it allows the sort of versatility of a unit that can survive a decent amount of time, but isn't there purely for the damage. It's there to distract. And then, obviously, if it gets killed the last time, and then that would finish off the zombie. Now, this unit is a fun unit. The Treasure Goblin. A mysterious goblin that only desires golden treasure. So the race of this unit would be under Dark. It would have a skill ability that I've named Golden Bounty. This is where the treasure goblin actually will benefit from an increase in coin gathering by 20%.
I have a bad feeling about this.
For a small amount of time, about 5 seconds, basically allowing people to just generate a little bit more gold. So you could have a bit of, treasure goblins at the back of your army somewhere in the middle, just going around doing a little bit of damage with the little daggers that they might have, because obviously, daggers with gems in them and stuff like that, the goblin will pick up on its journey, so it might use them as doing its damage that way. Very minimal damage, because its main goal is to generate gold. And if you could think of, obviously, the heroes that do focus very much on gold, like Jin. So, yeah, another little unit that could benefit from a little bit of gold. Whether it would be a one-time use during a battle, that would probably be the main feature, rather than it doing it every, 5 seconds or something like that. But, yeah, I thought this was a fun little unit to have in your army. Next on our list is the Tree Ent. Now, the Tree Ent would be a behemoth of a unit, very similar to what you would see with the ogres in the game. Big unit. It would come under the race of Wild. And this, out of all the suggestions I've made so far, this is the only one that I've suggested actually 2 skills.
What have I done?
One which would be a one-off ability right at the start, and the other can be used every so often. Now, the first one is a log throw. So the Tree Ent would probably snap off a part of its body, or it would be holding a large log. And at the beginning of the battle, the Tree Ent would throw this large log, causing units to be stunned for roughly about 2.5 seconds, something like that. So a really cool way of controlling a small area of effect at the start of the game. Now, the secondary skill that I wanted to give this unit was what I call Nature's Swipe. So what it does is the Tree Ent would use its large arm or hands to swipe enemies, kind of like in an arc in front of them, and it would push the enemies back. So it wouldn't just push one unit back, it would probably do about 3 to 5 units. Kind of, if you can imagine how the Cyclops does his club swing. So the Tree Ent would do a more minimized version of that. It's not affecting the entire field. It would only affect, like I said, 3 to 5 units in front of it. This unit would have substantial amount of health as well, being quite a sturdy unit. So yeah, I thought this one was quite a fun idea, something different to what you have with ogres, and this unit could be quite a visual aid right at the back of your army or at the front of your army, standing a little bit taller than the rest of the units. That'd be quite cool to see in the game. And lastly, here is the Dwarves. Now, this would be a race of... They'd come under human. The unit would be quite sturdy, quite strong. It would be looking at its feature of using axes and pickaxes. Now, the ability I wanted to give this dwarf may not be something that is ever possible.
I do hope he doesn't try anything foolish.
But I thought, screw it. This is probably the best way of putting it into the game, as the dwarves are mining creatures. They love to mine. And what do you do when you mine? Well, you find things like gems.
What did you say?
So what the dwarf would do is it would have an ability during the battle to search the battlefield, and it would have a chance, and it's only 1% chance to find gem piles on the battlefield. This would then allow a maximum of 10 gems per battle. So anything from 1 gem to 10 gems, and there's obviously only the 1% chance of it happening. Now, the main reason I put it so low is because it's very unlikely that they would put something like this in. It's gems. Gems are kind of like the second tier of currency in the game. You've got gold, which is the main, and it's plentiful. Gems, which is the next level, and then you've got the hunter's medals. But yeah, I thought I'd throw this in. Dwarves, quite sturdy units. They'd have a decent amount of health. They'd be decently strong. And then they would have this cool little mining feature where people could actually earn some very, very small amount of gems at a very small percentage chance of happening during their battles. I hope you all enjoyed this selection of alternative units that could be suggested forward into the game. If you enjoyed the video, please click a like. If you haven't already done so, click that subscribe button.
Hello there.
And I would love to hear what you thought of the 5 suggested units that I've put into this video. And if you have any unit suggestions or units that you would really, really like to see, I would love to hear what they would be. So please pop a message down in the comments. I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!